Welcome back. We're talking here with Thompson's captain Jordan De Silva, and we looked at the game itself. 297 for 6 declared around 4:30. You guys getting to bet just after tea. End of the day, 110 for 4 as the captain, and you actually came in. So I'm pretty sure you wasn't expecting to come in so early, or come in the first day. But how do you guys felt you was in that position at the end of the day?
4 wickets was obviously more than we would have hoped to have lost in that 3-hour period. I thought a couple of wickets could have been avoided. They run out to start. You never want to run out period, but when it's the opening wicket, because it didn't look like St. George's was going to get either of them 2 out. And then, Frey played, I would say, an uncharacteristic shot for him. I won't say a bad shot, but it was uncharacteristic for him, and I'm sure he has looked at that since that day and probably thinking he could have did a bit better. Obviously, Dion went down, and Dion was sort of our safety. I wouldn't say safety net, so to speak, going into the second day, where with 4 wickets down, but we still got Dion to come, and then obviously we sent Greg as a night watchman. That didn't. It worked out to get us to overnight, but we ended up losing that wicket. I think Stephen got out 15 minutes before the close or something, and then I ended up coming in. So
Oh, he's bowled! He's bowled! He's bowled! Oh, Trot! Odebrant has played over the top. Odebrant has played over the top of this one. And
it was not the best position, but like I said earlier, we looked at it as that we got batting all the way down to 11. Our last 3-4 guys aren't just bowlers. These are guys that have scored hundreds, and that's what our team was picked around. So we had confidence that we could still get runs. And LJ, the coach, had a good little innings. Maybe a bit of inexperience came through a little bit in terms of one too many shots, but he showed Bermuda that he could bat. When his confidence is there. So, but at 110 for 4, we still felt we was in the game. St. George's might have been confident because they hadn't been in this position after the first day in a while, which is fair. But we still had confidence that if they could get 300, we can too.
Mm-hmm. Talking about the actual game itself, when you look at in that position that you guys were in, were you thinking that we could have gotten maybe more runs, or what was the score you was looking at around that time?
We was looking at maybe more closer to 150. In that 3 hours, but of course, as you lose wickets, your target has to come down a bit, and then it was just a matter of not trying to lose any more wickets. So I think for that last hour, it was almost survival mode with Stephen and LJ at the time, and then Greg as the night watchman. So 150 was probably the score we was looking at going in, but then it has to be adjusted as the game changes.
Question for you: when it comes to survival, you're talking about survival mode. We're talking about just before a break, maybe water break, maybe lunch break, maybe tea break, maybe the end of the day. How important it is for guys just to keep focused and not trying to lose wickets, especially when they're probably the mindset is to be a very aggressive batsman.
Exactly.
Nature-wise, the naturally are really aggressive. But as a captain, you're saying, guys, I just need you to stay there. At the end of the day.
Yeah, it's difficult, and I think it's difficult for anybody, whether they're an aggressive player or not, because you have that don't get out mindset, and it's hard because sometimes you become lazy or you just become complacent because you're not even trying to score. So I think you have to find the right balance. If a guy builds a ranked bad ball, you got to put it away because you still got to score runs. But it's difficult, and I ended up having to do that for that last 15 minutes where all you're thinking about is batting the next morning, which is hard because you got to think about that time now. Which is why opening batsmen will hate if the team gets built out an hour before they close a play, because you almost feel like you're not batting for nothing because after half an hour we're going to go off and come back tomorrow. So it's a difficult thing to do. That was my first time doing it. That's the first time I've been overnight, after the first
Greg's
day.
done it a few times.
Greg's done it. He's been night watchman a couple. I think his coach year he was a night watchman and he survived. So I guess that's his calling. But no, it's not easy. But I guess it's all betting's mental anyway. So I guess it doesn't really change in terms of your mentality, in terms of focusing on every ball and playing every ball in its merit. If it's a bad ball, hit it. If it's not, keep it out.
So going into day 2, you were 119 for 4, as Jason said, 178 behind. What score did you have in mind as the ultimate score that you were, the best score that you were?
Well, the thought overnight was it wasn't really a score. We felt that if we were still batting come lunch, then we was in a good position in terms of third time, in terms of burning us out, burning us out again.
So was your strategy to play for a draw, or you wanted to?
It wasn't really to play for a draw. That was the first goal. We didn't think that we could get to 300 by lunch, but so the first goal was to still be batting at lunch, and then after that we wanted to overtake the score and then get whatever lead we was able to get, which I think was about 20 runs. So the overnight, I think I'm just thinking overnight. Overnight was just to make sure we were still batting at lunch, and then obviously Dion showed that we wasn't just playing for a draw because he played some shots, and just got us back into the game.
All right, we've been talking to we're talking to Jordan De Silva, the captain of Somerset Cricket Club, on day one of Cup Match 2019 on our highlight show right here on Channel 82.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by HSBC Bermuda.
Since 2006, HSBC Bermuda has been the proud lead sponsor of Cup Match. Just one of the many ways HSBC is committed to our community. Last year, in 2018, the bank donated more than $600,000 in support of 16 local charities and programs. Additionally, through sponsorships for events and other community engagement activities, a further $600,000 was invested, taking HSBC's total community investment to $1.2 million in the year. HSBC Bermuda is committed to working to improve our community and its overall societal health, and to truly making a significant and positive difference on our island.
The Brown Darrow Clinic offers caring professionals ultra-modern equipment, including a high-tech CT scanner and a private environment with parking steps from our door. If you're anxious about a CT scan or afraid of hospitals, our staff will put you at ease. Earlier detection leads to earlier treatment, and Brown Darrow gives you another on-island option for professional care. Brown Darrow Clinic, building trust, one patient at a time.
4K ready box, cloud DVR storage, more local channels on every device in your home. Get more with FiberWire TV.
Welcome back to our highlights program, Cup Match 2019. Jordan, day two. You went into day two 178 runs behind. Score was 119 for 4. What was your strategy? What score did you have in mind? What were you going for?
Well, our strategy was to overtake the score. You know, I said it on day one that we felt that whatever score they could get, we could get, because we felt that our batting lineup was long enough and the wicket player well enough. But the first goal for day two was just to be batting at lunch. We felt that no matter what score we had at lunch, if we were batting at lunch, we felt that it was going to be difficult for them to then, send us back in later in the day. So that was the first goal, was just to get, well, we wanted to obviously overtake the score, like I said. You wanted the first innings lead, but the first goal for that first 2.5 hours was to still be batting come lunchtime.
And the ultimately was, you ended up 18 runs ahead and sent St. George's back in. It ended up that the second innings could have been played like a 20-20 match.
Definitely. It looked as if St. George's were caught in two minds about, are we going to try and post a score, or are we just going to try and bet? And because a lot of the guys didn't even get out playing attacking shots. A lot of the guys got out just almost not sure what they wanted to do. So so credit to the bowlers. I thought we bowled extremely well. I thought Taryn did a fantastic job taking over on that second day when I was unable to field. But I just thought that we put St. George's in a position where they wasn't really sure what they wanted to do, and be putting the pressure back on them. After such a good first day for them, I think the first session on the second day sort of deflated them a bit, and we took the momentum going into the second innings, and that showed.
A couple of moments on that second day. Dion's 50, finally getting to 50. I mean, for the boys, obviously, you guys are happy for him, but for Dion, what was it like for him? I mean, I'm pretty sure you could probably speak a little bit on Dion getting that 50, his first 50.
Lovely shot. What a glorious stroke. And that brings up his 50.
Yes.
That brings up his 50. Dion Stubble
finally got his
classic cover drive. You know what? On the back foot, punched that one right through to the cover point boundary for 4. He moves on to 50. Yes. His 50 coming in how many deliveries, Lorenzo? His 50 coming in 57 deliveries. Fine style.
And Sean, just to say, that's the monkey off his back.
Just the words out of my mouth.
So many expectations over the years.
That's right.
And he's answered today.
Put it this way, it took a lot for him not to go back to bet the first day. That's how bad he wanted to bet. Like, trust me, he was begging the physio to let him go back out there, and we kept telling him, Dion, is only an hour left for a hold. It doesn't make sense. He was hungry to bet that first day. And all he talked about was 50. That's all he wanted to do. And I told him on the ride back to the hotel that night, I said, me and you are both getting 50 tomorrow. I really told him that. You can ask him yourself. it just had that feeling about it, and I was betting with him when he got it, so I was extremely happy to be out there with him because he's been wanting that for so long because he feels like he's been cutting the public short because everyone knows how talented he is. And last year he did it with the ball, and then this year he finally came good with the bet when we really needed it. It wasn't as if it was a pointless 50. We really needed it.
Well, we've been saying in our commentary for a couple of years now that we just need a catalyst because we think he could probably go and break some records because he's that talented. There's not so many players you could say that could actually break Gennaro's, even score the 183 or 186, I believe, whatever it is. But he's one of those players who has the mindset, has the shots, has the skills, and who can actually do it. And to see him finally get the 50 was an emotional thing. Now, obviously, you're 50. Very emotional. Oh, this one is, it could have been a good catch. Could have been a good catch, but Jordan Da Silva, now he's saying this is his 50 runs and is dedicated it to someone over there. He's racing towards the pavilion. That ball is outside the off stump. He late cuts it and gets across the man that slipped, which is OJ Pitcher. There is a story behind Jordan Da Silva today. A lot of people didn't know the backstory because we tried to interview you prior to the morning.
Yeah.
And then I just want to tell you, so Sean, we got a message saying that Jordan's apologizing that he can't interview with us. And I'm like, why he needs to apologize? Because something has happened. And when we saw him, when you ran down to the boundary, it all made sense to everybody.
Yeah. That's well, everyone found out that it was Dalen Richardson's grandma, and I'm actually very close to that family because Dalen's oldest cousin and myself were like brothers growing up, and I'm almost like her other grandchild, so I got that word Thursday night, and it hit me hard because I was actually at her house for dinner on the Sunday before. Wow. First time I had been to her house in probably 10 years, so then I got that news, and it really hit me, and to be honest, in my head I said, that's probably the worst news St. George's could have heard because that put me on and obviously, a lot of things happened, in my innings. I had a few chances go on and
A few?
I would say a few. I can't remember the exact number.
I think it was close to 5 maybe.
But most of them came after 50. but yeah, so then that last ball went to the boundary, it was just about, making sure that the family knew that, that was for her. Because that family was close to me, and obviously with Dalen being in the team, Dalen showed a lot of strength. He was actually dismissed from the team for that, and he came back, and yeah, so he actually got permission to stay away. He said, nah, I want to be part of the team, so even more so.
That's fantastic. So your strategy going into the second innings for Somerset in batting, were you going out there to win?
Then we were batting.
When you went into bat. So you batted for one ball, but you needed 130
we
in order
138.
to win.
We definitely went out there to try and win the game.
But you needed 12 runs and over.
Yeah, we looked at it as a point. We looked at it as we felt it was a better chance of us winning than them because we figured if we lose 3 or 4 wickets, then we just close it up, and then we can't see them building us out in 10 overs, to be honest. So we definitely went out there with the intentions of winning. Obviously, what ended up happening was unfortunate. And thankfully, Dion was okay and was cleared to travel the next day and everything like that. He's told me that even if he's playing the games under 12s, he'll be wearing a helmet from now on. He's told me that since then, but it's just glad that he was okay. And you don't really want to see a cricket game end like that. People were probably excited that we was going for the score, and then obviously that just changed the whole mood. But thankfully, he was all right.
All part of the atmosphere cup match.
Definitely.
And as you were saying, it's just something that's difficult to control. You got to just think about how it can be managed.
Last question for you. This might have been the last cup match for Lionel Cain. What do you think he's done for cup match?
I think Lionel's done a lot. His on that list of 1,000 run scores. I think it's only 5 or 6 of them. He's one of them. I'm seeing Lionel play so many different innings. I'm seeing him make 100 or 50 balls. I'm seeing him make 30 off 100 balls. I'm seeing him save cup match. I'm seeing him win it. He's just been a very, very good player for St. George's to have, not just for St. George's, but for Bermuda. We guys enjoy competing against him as a competitor. He loves the game, he's passionate, he knows it. And if this is his last one, it will be a miss for cup match because he does entertain the crowd still when he's ready. And like I said, and for us, he's a stubborn one. Like I said, I'm seeing him play every single type of innings you could think of. He's been captain on a few occasions, so he'll definitely be a miss for cup match, absolutely.
We've been talking to Jordan Da Silva, the captain of Somerset Cricket Club. Congratulations, Jordan. Your team have retained the cup another year. We'll see what happens in 2020. We're here at Cup Match highlights of Cup Match 2019 on Channel 82. We'll be right back.
Ever wanted to be part of a live studio audience? Well, now's your chance.
It's time to get the tea with your hosts, Tanika Eve, Patricia Pudson Nesbitt, Aziza Ferbert, Marlene Juliet Flynn, Kristen White.
The Tea, the Caribbean's newest talk show, discussing female issues. Be part of the drama, have a laugh, and of course receive all the tea. For more information, visit theteatalkshow.com or call 296-2605.
4K ready box, cloud DVR storage, more local channels on every device in your home. Get more with FiberWire TV.
Welcome back to Channel 82, our Cup Match 2019 highlight show. We're here with LJ Richardson, the Colt from Somerset Cricket Club. Welcome, LJ.
Thank you. Evening.
Well, LJ, Colt, that's got to be something for Somerset, but also coming in, you got a little reputation behind your family. You're following some players. You're following your daddy, your cousins, uncles. You're following some players that came in this match. What was it like for you coming in as a Colt? Obviously knowing that your dad played, everybody played. What was it like for you? What was their best advice for you?
Well, to start off, for me, I kind of want to say I felt at home because in a way I grew up around the team. From I want to say around 12 years old, I was just always around them every cup match. Well, I was with my dad, just sitting there with him because unlike a lot of people, I was really focused on the game and not the festivities of cup match. Those didn't really entertain me. I was really into the cricket. So everyone in that team I've been around for so long that it almost felt natural for me to be there.
Pitcher then sweeps. He could be out, and he's going to be out. He sweeps to the backward square leg boundary, where he's going to be caught by LJ Richardson.
Yep.
Yeah, he's going to be caught by LJ Richardson, the Colt.
The best advice they gave me is to just play my game, just go out there and just be me. So.
Now, Mr. George is batting first. Obviously, took a little butterflies away. Fielded well.
Yeah, thank you.
But then it's time to go into bed. Now, it took a while before you get off the mark.
Yeah.
Was that probably one of the longest ever? Did it seem like forever to get off the mark?
Yeah, it did at first, but I just, stuck to it. I don't really want to say it, but I was very nervous when I first went out there.
You don't have to say it, we all knew.
Yeah, it was, but once I got my opportunity, I got the bare ball, I put it away, and I got comfortable, and from there on, everything happened.
Going forward now, are you looking to keep and retain your spot in cup match and make sure whoever tries to get it, you're going to make it as hard as possible? Because when you have the likes of Kamal Leverick not being in the side and Trey Manners looking to come back, obviously your spot's going to be one of the spots where, LJ is young, it's probably got more years. For you, what is your goal now?
It's to stay there, I'm trying to secure my spot. So come next year, I'm going to just fight for it, Like you said, with Kamal coming back and Trey Manders, it is going to be a battle, and hopefully I will be able to secure my spot and stay in the team and play up Somerset.
Tell us about your preparation for Cup
Match. For the most part, I was just relaxing, not doing anything physical, just taking care of myself. I wasn't riding my bike anywhere I didn't need to, things like that, because a lot of accidents have put out some of our players, and that was just one thing I was very cautious of. So that was pretty much it, and just getting a good night's rest. I don't necessarily have a routine when it comes to getting ready.
Superstitions?
Nah, for me it's just, for the most part I go about my daily life and just do what I would usually do. I feel like if I try to switch anything up, that's what will mess me up.
Tell us about your daily life. What's going on with LJ Richardson these days?
As of right now, I'm just working at Butterfield Bank, making some money because I am in university. So.
Whereabouts?
In Cardiff, Wales. So. Working, making money so I can take some of the burden off of my parents, and, rely on myself for a bit of the time while I'm out there.
Talk about your parents. Let's talk about your father, because I got to speak with him the second morning. And I asked him a question. I said, by the way, how many runs you scored on your first cup match? He told me 1. I said, your boy scored 29 runs, one of you. What was that conversation? Knowing he only scored 1 in his first cup match, you scored 30.
That's actually interesting you bring that up because I want to say at least 3 days before the cup match, he brought it up to me. You know, we had the conversation. He told me, look, I only made one my first cup match, so all you have to do is make two, and he'll do better than me. So that's just something I kept in mind. But if anything, just talking to him afterward, he was proud. Like, he was just happy to see me, you know, get out of that rough period when I first went out there and go out and show what I'm capable of. So for him, it was more so, he was just very proud of me. So, yeah.
Well, he certainly made up for that one run over the next few years. So no need to worry about it. We're talking to L.J. Richardson, the young coach. He had his first year in cup match, full of nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much. For
nerves
me.
are going now, so you can do it again next year, and nerves won't be there. Huh?
For sure.
Good. Great experience, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, greatest. I wouldn't say best experience of my life so far.
Nothing like cup match.
Nothing like it.
I can imagine. L.J. Richardson, the coach for Somerset Cricket Club. We'll be right back with this cup match highlight show right here on Channel 8.
Ever wanted to be part of a live studio audience? Well, now's your chance.
It's time to get the tea with your hosts, Tanika Eve, Patricia Pudson Nesbitt, Aziza Furbert, Marlene Juliet Flynn, Kristen White.
The Tea, the Caribbean's newest talk show, discussing female issues. Be part of the drama, have a laugh, and of course receive all the tea. For more information, visit theteatalkshow.com or call 296-2605.
Welcome back. We are here at our Cup Match 2019 highlight show. We're talking with Mr. Neil Painter, the president of St. George's Cricket Club. Welcome, Neil.
Thank you, guys. Nice to be here.
And first of all, we want to give you our heartfelt congratulations on a very successful Cup match.
Well, thank you. I mean, we couldn't have done it without the tremendous team that we had at St. George's Cricket Club. I thought our management and our committee and the members rallied around to ensure that it was a successful Cup match.
Tell us what goes into the preparation for such a huge event. You start this way.
When it ends in Somerset. So basically the preparation starts once it ends at one end of the island. We start to formulate our plan moving forward. I would say probably around October of the previous year. And then we start to formulate what needs to be done, what type of contracts we want to formulate, and then we start to set the ball roll maybe around January 1st. And from January 1st up until the date the cup match happens, everything goes into play.
As time has gone on and the event has grown and grown, we see the structure around which cup match is organized. We see it developing. We see it's getting more and more professional, for want of a better word. And I guess that's what has to happen because the event itself is growing more and more.
Yeah, cup match is evolving every year. From 1902 to now, it has evolved tremendously, and people need to understand that this is done by volunteers. We all have our own jobs, we all have our own lives, our own families, and we do this out of the love of our club and our community. So it is evolving technologically, socially. Everything is evolving, and it's becoming a tremendous expense only because what the people want, and we're here to please the people and please the public.
There has been a lot of commentary about the fact that this cup match is probably the most regulated cup match that we've had ever. What's your thoughts on that?
Ever. I think that is the word, ever. And I know our management team can attest to that. We have been put under the gun. We have been charged with ensuring that the general public is safe, not only the players, but the spectators that come in from the health department to the planning department. I think those are the two major entities that put us under the gun. But I felt that our team, that led by Romeo Ruddock and Michelle Painter, stepped up to the wicket because they were charged with ensuring that whatever the government agencies needed, that they passed the information on to us, and we ensured that things went well. And I think that we attest, and we did what we had to do.
So this must then have a tremendous financial impact.
Oh, most definitely. We've spent some money that we thought that we could keep. You know what I mean? And we didn't have. But at the end of the day, you know, the safety of our spectators is paramount, and we've always done that. We didn't need the government agencies to tell us that this what has to be done. Our only thing was that, you know, we felt that we should have known a lot earlier, because as we are an organization that is run by volunteers. So had we known, say, right after Somerset Cup match that this what needed to be done, I can assure you that St. George's Cricket Club would have been ready and willing to do what we had to do. Bear that in mind, we were given short notice, but guess what? We stepped up to the plate, and I think that our team done a tremendous job.
The grounds were in first-class condition. The organization was in first-class shape. I don't think that there could be any complaints about how well Cup Match was put together, and kudos to you and your team for putting on a first-class event. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard nothing but positive feedback. Even our management team has heard nothing but positive feedback. Can we improve? Yes, we'll always improve from year to year, but from what we had to endure leading up to Cup Match, I thought that our team done a tremendous job, and I want to give them the great things that they need.
Your preparation so now you have a year off, and then you get to go up to Somerset next year, relax and enjoy it, and then you'll start again the day after it finishes in Somerset, getting ready for it coming back to St. George.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're a team now. I mean, obviously, we have AGMs and things happen and things can change, but at the end of the day, the team that we have now, I think, work well together. You know, we have a mix of youth and experience, you know, that are willing to work together to ensure that this event remains viable and remains something that, like I said, for the next 500 years in St. George's and Somerset. So I'm looking forward to, I'm sure my team is looking forward to relaxing this year, but we're not just relaxing, we also assist the other club in their preparation. Maybe not deeply involved, but we have meetings where we work together to ensure that at both ends it's a success. And I think it's important that what we were challenged with this year, that we share with Somerset, and the government agencies also share with Somerset, so that we can ensure that what happens in Somerset ensures that the public is safe and that it's a wonderful event.
I personally think the Cup Match is getting bigger and bigger. It's the amount of people that were there over the course of those 2 days. I think that's probably one of the biggest crowds that I've ever seen. And people wonder how they can fit into the same size venue, but the structures are going up higher and higher. And that is a testament to the fact that the event is really
Yeah, and I've had some conversations where people say, well, it don't seem like it's much people on the grounds. I said, no, because we're going up.
Yeah.
Before we was expanding out.
Oh, right.
Now we're going up. So if you take 2 levels off of those structures and then you put them on the ground, where would they fit?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's important that people understand that, you know, I think Cup Match is going to continue to get bigger and bigger, and it's going to be important that not only government but corporate Bermuda and the Bermuda public continue to support an event that has been going on for over 100 years and will continue for another many more 100 years.
Now, we're talking with the president, Neil Painter. Not only the president, but a sportsman, not just an athlete. Now, you told us those are 2 days you actually took off. You know, you done your work, you got to sit back and watch the game. Give us 3 moments for you watching the game. Give us 3 moments of what you can remember about 2019 Cup Match.
Well, there are two moments that come to mind, and there are 2 young men who grew up in St. George's and live and die St. George's, and that's Anias Bascom and Mackay Simmons, making their 50. And I know Anias made 100 last year. That's a milestone. But those are 2 players who bleed blue and blue, and for them to come through and show that, you know, the real grit and determination as to why they're St. Georgians, for me, that was heartwarming to see those young men come up and produce on their home ground.
Yes.
On their home ground. That is 2 moments that come to me. Now, the other moment that comes to me is that I felt that our team really acquitted themselves. You know, yes, we did drop some catches, but I think we showed the rest of the island that what St. George was about. And I think that the game of cricket that was played definitely on the first day and even part of the second day showed that cricket is not lost in Bermuda, and that Cup Match is a viable sporting event that we will enjoy, and those young men will always acquit themselves and provide entertainment for the public.
Last question for you. As a president of a local club, how important it is to nurture these young men actually starting out with boys, and to see them, you said Makai and these guys, you're seeing these guys in the minors, the lower leagues, the grassroots, all the way up now to the senior. As a president, what does it mean for you and your coaches staff?
Well, I think it's important. Not only, I think people need to understand the importance of community clubs. If you take every community club out of every community that they're in, Bermuda would be worse off. We do have some challenges in our island, and as an educator, seeing these young men and young women within our education system and see them come through clubs and have a positive impact on our community is without a doubt. It's wonderful to see, and nothing against the young women because they have their place as well, but to see young men who are often chastised for what they do that's negative, and when we have young men who come through and do positive things in their younger lives, they may have had some challenges and then come to fruition like we see now. I think it's important that we uplift them and show them more the respect that they deserve.
Now, obviously, you probably wasn't happy with the result, but it's always next year.
Yeah, but like I tell people, I've never had a bad cup match. I may not like the result, but I've never had a bad cup match. The only thing I didn't like about this cup match was that the game ended the way it did, because we still had 11 overs left, and anything could have happened.
Give us your thoughts quickly about how we can control that.
The way the game ended? I think we need to sit down with the officials, the players, and come to some consensus of how we move this game so that it comes to an end instead of an abrupt end.
We're talking with Neil Painter, the president of St. George's Cricket Club, a man who bleeds blue and blue. Congratulations, Neil, on a very successful cup match. Thank you for joining us. We are here at our cup match highlight show of Cup Match 2019 right here on Channel 82.
We're down here at Cup Match 2019. No, I bought my air drip out today. How you feeling about the day so far?
Hey, but it's hot, but I'm enjoying it, you feel me?
Okay. Down here with my boy. Shout yourself out on the camera. What's your name?
Zayande.
I'm first St. George's. Who's your team?
Somerset.
Any of you guys that have been to Green Light, you know about my girl Vosh. Who's your Cup Match team?
Somerset.
Who's your Cup Match team?
Somerset.
We ain't getting related no more. I'm Die Hard St. George's. The atmospheres are getting good. It's just a Bermuda full holiday, right?
Yeah, amazing vibes, amazing vibes.
You ain't gonna see nobody else in this.
These guys wanted to interview there. They must have had TV. They was like, yeah, I want to be on the TV. St. George's is gonna bring the cup home this year. How you feel about that?
It's absolutely no way St. George's will bring that cup home.
Any of you guys that listen to the radio, you know this voice.
Pom pom!
You had it right here on ITK3.
And welcome back. We are here at our 2019 Annual Cup Match Classic Highlights Show, and we're here with Brandy Bassett, the Secretary of St. George's Cricket Club, and Romeo Ruddock, a member of the management who's particularly tasked with the project management of Cup Match. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
So, Cup Match 2019 got off without a hitch, most would say. What would you say about that?
I would agree with that.
So it was a spectacularly planned and well-organized presentation, but we know that it takes a tremendous amount of organization to put something of that scale and of that magnitude together. When do you start your work?
We start early, real early. We start from probably around November, and then we kick things into gear probably starting in January and moving forwards.
So give us an idea of the amount of organization and the scope of work that you have to put in place.
I'm going to punt to Brandy for that one.
I would say on a weekly basis, just going to the club every day to make sure that everything is on schedule, checking the emails, touching base with the plot holders and things like that. So making sure that every day we are touching base to make sure that things are running smoothly.
So we're talking about we're talking about organizing the scaffolding.
Yeah.
We're talking about organizing the vendors. Yeah. And what else? What other things?
Vendors, Crown and Anchor, the plot holders. That's pretty much what I focused on, mainly the plot holders and the vendors.
And then there's the alcohol sales. So that's something that the clubs have taken on themselves now.
Right.
Is that proving to be a challenge? Is that something that you now, because you've been doing it a few years, you've got it you've got the system now in place? Or,
Yeah, the system is in place now. We've been doing it for a while now, so that's in place. The other things that we do early on as well is we secure the security company. We look at staff, and we put an ad out in the newspaper to let people know that we're hiring. We go through a application process and a vetting process, and we start having our meetings early on to see where staff are needed.
So you've been doing this for a number of years, and are you finding that every other year that the work or the regulations that are required are getting more and more intense?
Yes. This year in particular was really tough for us.
So give us an example of that.
So for example, this year, as far as the scaffolding itself, the structure of the scaffolding itself, there was a lot of regulation there. And let me go back and talk about how we came to that. There was a cup match planning committee that was formed by Superintendent Naima Aswood. She was the goal commander for Cup Match this year, and her team. So all the agencies that were involved in Cup Match got together on a weekly basis on Mondays, every Monday, about starting 2 months before Cup Match. And we go through different scenarios. We plan for any kind of situation that may arise. Out of that committee came the Joint Agency Command Center, the JAC. And in that command center, you had police, fire, St. John's Ambulance, Royal Bermuda Regiment, Health, and other agencies that were directly involved in Cup Match. There was a lot of talk before about, the clubs are not big enough. But I think that if we have the investment from the private sector as well as government as far as infrastructure is concerned, then when we get to 2021, we have everything that we need, and it's just, we have a system in place that we follow.
Just like putting the blocks back in place.
Right, exactly.
Just taking it apart and putting it back.
Yes, exactly. It's just making sure that we have the investment in our infrastructure to be able to function like that.
Well, I don't think that there's anyone who would disagree with me when I say that it was a resounding success. I always say that for me, it's the best event of the year. It's like Christmas. It's bigger than Christmas for most people, and everyone looks forward to Cup Match. And then, of course, you took a chance with the television broadcast this year.
Yeah, we did. We took a huge chance, but it paid off. A few weeks before Cup Match is when Channel 82 came on board. We had a situation where we had another vendor, but that didn't come through, and these guys really brought it. For the first time, we had HD quality. So from my standpoint, I get a lot of compliments about the broadcast this year, and that's a testament to the Channel 82 team. That would be Lamone Woods and then Amir X. It wasn't just the broadcast, but it was a full production. If you came to Cup Match, you saw leading up to, as you're walking up to the gate, there was decorations all over, there were plants, it was everything. If you go on social media, you'll see in the Western end, we had the, where they did the bats and the stage back there, people were taking pictures. So it was the full production, and it was a great team.
Great. Your club did a fantastic job. From the field being in first-class condition to the infrastructure, and people don't realize the level of organization that's required when you talk about things like waste management, trash, and you talk about the vendors, and you talk about the liquor and the ice and the scaffolding and just the whole man management thing. It's just a tremendous undertaking, but by all accounts, it was done in first-class fashion. So you deserve congratulations and thanks from the whole community. Job well done.
Thank you.
We're talking to Romeo Ruddock and Brandy Bassett, who are responsible, the stakeholders of the St. George's Cricket Club's management team that put on 2019 Cup Match. Right here, we're talking to them. Thank you both for joining us. You are watching our Cup Match highlights broadcast on Channel 82.
Box, cloud DVR storage, more local channels on every device in your home. Get more with FiberWire TV.
Yes, by all accounts, it's Cup Match 2019. It's all over, but it was a resounding success.
I mean, to think and hear all the strategies from the captains, talking about the butterflies with the young man, L.J. Richardson, even talking about the infrastructure, all the challenges that these clubs had. I mean, it was a lot packed into this one Cup Match on the field.
But what we've learned is that it takes a lot of work to get it ready, to get the infrastructure, to get the field ready, to get the teams ready, and then it all boils down to the 2 days when those two gladiator teams take to the field and make sure that Bermuda is entertained for the 2 days. And it has happened without a shadow of a doubt. Everyone should be pleased.
Even though the game ended in a draw, I believe both teams and both clubs have won.
Nothing like Cup Match. I can't wait for 2020. We'll be there.
We will be.
Can't wait to be there. We want to give a special shout out to Crimson Multimedia and the Geno Group, who have put on this production here today. They provided the television coverage that was available on Channel 82 and streamed all around the world. First class production.
Sean, I gotta say shout out to the whole team, because when we was brought on and to see a bunch of young people put this together who had never done Cup Match, I don't think had ever done a cricket game, and pulled it all off in a short amount of time. So just gotta say shout out to the guys, the biggest, as the producers. Big shout out to those guys, but not only to have a team that was ready to go at a moment's notice, and they pulled it off. So hats off to you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys in 2020.
Well, that's it from us. We hope you've enjoyed our highlights of this year's Cup Match Classic 2019, as well as the ladies of the tea. And so, as we say at the Voice of Summer, all that remains is to close the scorebook on another annual Cup Match Classic. We'll see you next year.